medical miracles on earth right now. Most Christians believe that God is curing cancers, healing diseases, reversing the effects of poison, and so on. So here's question 1. Why won't God heal amputees?
Okay, his first question to me is, why won't God heal amputees? Now Christians, this is where a little bit of logic needs to kick in. What we're seeing is something called a loaded question. A loaded question is a fallacy. What a loaded question is where the statement inside the question is false. You don't believe it. It's a straw man. For example, he says, why won't God heal amputees? So that's loaded because I totally disagree with that premises right there. I mean, how does he know that God won't heal amputees, that he's never done it? Does this guy really think he's seen all amputees in all history and never been healed? Does he think that God won't heal in the future? So what we have, again, is a loaded question. Let me give you an example of a loaded question. Here's a loaded question. Do you still beat your wife? Now, if you were asked that, can you answer that directly? No, because any answer you say, yes or no, makes you look bad. You totally disagree with the premise of the question. You disagree that you're beating your wife. So that's what's happening here. So he has a loaded question that, based on the premises of this question, I already disagree.
It's a simple question, isn't it? We all know that amputated legs do not spontaneously regenerate in response to prayer.
He asserted that. He doesn't know. I mean, so you got to also point these out. You got to point out that he's using assertions. He's just asserting that God's never done it, ever.
Amputees get no miracles from God.
Ditto.
If you're an intelligent person, you have to admit that this is an interesting question. On the one hand, you believe that God answers prayers and performs miracles. On the other hand, you know that God completely ignores amputees when...
Oh, I know. And he knows that God just completely ignores. When they pray, he just sits there and goes, huh? No, you're an amputee, so I don't value it as much. No. Again, you have a bunch of false premises. His premises is about the God of the Bible are incorrect. God listens to all prayers. It doesn't mean he says yes and answers how we would like him to answer. Okay, let's continue.
They pray for miracles. How do you deal with this discrepancy? As an intelligent person, you have to deal with it because it makes no sense.
Okay, there's some bigotry he's using. He's saying because it makes no sense. He's accusing that there's no answer that you can give that makes sense. That's bigotry. He's answering that based because of his presuppositions. Based on his presuppositions, I can't give him one that makes sense.
In order to handle it, notice that you have to create some kind of rationalization. You have to invent an excuse on God's behalf to explain this strange fact of life. You might say, well, God must have...
Well, okay, let me answer the question. Since it's a loaded question, I can't answer it really directly. I mean, you got me stumped. Again, it's like me making you answer, do you still beat your wife? So I think the appropriate answer, and it's more meaningful, is will God heal amputees? And in the Bible it says yes. God is going to heal every Christian amputee at the resurrection when Jesus comes back. So I don't know about people who are unsaved. The Bible doesn't give me much about the resurrection of people who are unsaved. But so I can't say yes or no, but I'm going to just ignore that part. But yes, God will heal all amputees at the resurrection, at least. And by the way, there's a couple. If you don't understand God's sovereignty